Autograph, and here today with Vintage Breaks to talk to you guys about something special. Now, Vintage Breaks, there's multiple things that set Vintage Breaks apart from all the other breakers out there, and spending one evening in the chat and watching the show, you'll see that. But we're here today to talk about two things in particular that really about 95% of breakers are not doing, but are some of the most fun, exciting, and cool types of breaks that there are out there. And that, of course, are hit randoms and set breaks. So we're going to start off first with hit randoms. And I know a lot of you are probably asking yourself, what is a hit random? Well, it's very similar to a break where there's a certain allotted amount of spots and you buy into those spots. Except for ahead of time, you know the cards that you could possibly get. So once everything's full, they randomize a list and the cards are obviously numbered in order, and then they match the list up and you get the cards. An example, like right now up on vintagebreaks.com, they have So first thing we're going to start off talking about today are hit randoms. And I know a lot of you are probably asking, what is a hit random? Well, it's very similar to a break in that there's a certain number of allotted spots. And you buy into it just like you would a break on vintagebreaks.com. You purchase it the same way you purchase any other spot. And once it's full, instead of breaking a box or a pack of cards, they're a group of cards that have been pulled together, not necessarily from the same set. Sometimes they can be, sometimes they won't be, and sometimes they'll be from across all types of years, but you know the cards ahead of time. So once it's full, they'll randomize the list, and the cards are then paired up with that list. Now, for example, this can sound a little confusing without an example, so we'll pull one up right now. We've currently got one up going right now that's a 90-card vintage PSA and SGC graded hit random. So buying into it, you're guaranteed a graded card. Now, look at some of these cards that are on there. I mean, you've got a T206 Ty Cobb Green Portrait PSA 2. A 1966 Topps Mickey Mantle SGC 5, Phil Rizzuto, Joe Namath 7, a bunch of 69 Roberto Clemente. I mean, just some absolutely incredible stuff. But all 90 spots are guaranteed to get something. So for this one, for example, the buy-in in here, as you can see, they give you the entire list of every single card that is on there. And as you can see, you have things from 2010, 2019, Jeff McNeil, Terry Bradshaw, Eric Dickerson, Brett Favre rookie graded, Emmitt Smith graded. All these types of cards, $175 a spot, with the possibility of winning some absolute monsters. Just looking at all of these cards, it's absolutely incredible. Tim Raines, PSA 8, Gaylord Perry rookie, SGC 4, 60 Flair Eddie Collins, SGC 8, and then, of course, the big monsters of them all, the Clemente, the Mantle, the Gehrig, the Namath, the Ty Cobb, and the Ty Cobb, of course, being the green portrait. And so that's just one example of one that they have going on right now. And Vintage Breaks does a great job of having these up all the time. Now, one of the neatest things about hit randoms is that they do put them across all eras. Now, some of them are specifically related to vintage, and some are specifically related to modern. And then other ones run the gamut, just like this last one does, which is a great way because you always find something different, and it's a really neat way, especially if you're someone new into collecting, or maybe you've collected modern but you've never dabbled into vintage. This is a great way to dabble in and possibly some vintage. There might be some more modern cards that you're looking at, but you could end up winning some vintage and, starting a collection. And I mean, that's actually, to be honest, how I started my vintage collection, was through a hit random. And I ended up getting some vintage, and I mean, it gets addicting, and I see why lots of people love it. And I see why lots of people say vintage is king. But that's what a hit random is. You're guaranteed a card. You know the list of cards ahead of time. So there's no surprises. You're not going to pay $175 a spot for a one autograph box and hit Goga Batazzi like, Panini loves to do, or anything like that. Yes, you have a possibility of getting one of the lower end cards, but you're getting something. And like in this case of the one that I showed you right here, all of them are graded. So, I mean, getting a graded card, no matter what, it's a no-brainer and a win-win. And so that's what a hit random is, and one of the many different types of breaks that you'll find here at vintagebreaks.com. All right, next up on our rundown today are set breaks. Now, set breaks are similar to hit randoms, except for these, like the name implies, all follow along one particular set. Now, these often take classic sets, the entire set, and it's put out together. I'm going to pull up some examples right now because this is something that Vintage Breaks does a lot, and they have a lot running. All right, and next up, we've got set breaks. Now, set breaks are similar to hit randoms, except for just like the name implies, they deal with one particular set. This is when Vintage Breaks will buy up an entire complete classic set and put it up to where, just like in a hit random, you buy a spot, so you're guaranteed a card, but you have that opportunity at hitting some of those legendary cards in the set. Once again, I'm going to pull up right now and show you some of the ones that we have. As you can see, there are quite a few on the site right now, but just take a look at some of these. For example, a 1986 Flair basketball break, 132 card random card with a Michael Jordan rookie PSA 8, a Charles Barkley rookie PSA 8, Karl Malone rookie PSA 8. Then you also have a 53 Topps baseball set break, 274 spot random card. You've got 62 Topps football set break, 176 card spot, and a 1967 Topps baseball 609 spot random card. So this is where, like I said, they take parts of the set. Sometimes it'll be a full complete set. Other times it will be a part of it. But as it shows you in here, all right, y'all, and next up are set breaks. Now, set breaks are very similar to hit randoms, but just like the name implies, everything in these breaks come from one particular set. This is where Vintage Breaks will buy up sometimes a complete set if they can be found, or they'll buy up a large portion of classic sets, obviously with the major hits included, and put them together into a break. And so just like in a hit random, you would buy a spot, you're guaranteed a card, and they would randomize the list, pair everything up, and then you would win the card, obviously paired next to your name. Just like before, I'm going to pull up some right now just so you can take a look. As you can see, Vintage Breaks has tons of these going on all the time, and they are an absolute blast, as you'll see here shortly. But I mean, just look at what's up right now. 1986 Flair basketball set break, 132 spot random cards. Some of the cards included Michael Jordan rookie PSA 8, Charles Barkley rookie PSA 8, Karl Malone rookie PSA 8, and tons more. Then you got a 53 Topps baseball 274 spot with a Mantle PSA, a Willie Mays SGC3, Jackie Robinson, Satchel Paige. And then you keep going down, and then you get into a 1969 Topps baseball complete set break, 664 spot random cards. Those, of course, include Mickey Mantle, Reggie Jackson, Nolan Ryan. I mean, just legendary sets, like I said before. Now, the difference here is in these, some of the cards will be graded, some of them won't. Sometimes all of them will be. They vary by the set, so all that information will be found when you click and go to purchase your spots at vintagebreaks.com. But, you know, it all depends on that particular set. But once again, it's a unique and a different way of breaking where A, you're guaranteed to get something, but you're also guaranteed to get something from a classic set. I mean, for set builders, this is a great thing. I know a lot of people that have joined Vintage Breaks that have gotten into these sets, and I've actually started building the complete set because of cards they got into on these set breaks. And one of the coolest things about Vintage Breaks is you know all about their dippage and about how the bonuses are really, I mean, they run the gamut. Right now, there's 11 bonuses going on as I'm recording this as we speak. So there's always bonuses going on, but they give away a ton of set break spots in these bonuses as well. So when you're buying into your normal breaks and your normal packs, you could also end up winning some of these set break spots and end up with, I mean, you could end up with a Michael Jordan 8 just for buying into Prism. You know, I mean, it's absolutely incredible, but it's a fun and a very different way of breaking. But set breaks and hit randoms, like I said, not a lot of breakers doing them, but a great way and a great return for some value. It can be very difficult, like I mentioned earlier, of, you know, spending a ton of money chasing something, and even when you get the hit, it's Goga. Or, you know, I hate to use him as an example, but you get my point. At least in this, you know what you're chasing, and in a lot of these, they're legendary sets. So at least you're getting a legendary vintage card and, you know, the chance at some of the most iconic cards in the industry. And, you know, set breaks, even though you know the cards that are coming, every once in a while, Vintage Breaks, one thing that they're very big on is getting some absolute monsters to include in hit randoms and set breaks, and they can be awfully exciting. So check it out real quick.
Hi, can I speak with Rob Geis? Hello.
John, are you kidding me?
Oh, my God!
Rob Geis.
No way, guys. I'm sitting here with my wife and...
Oh, my God!
Holy crap.
Congratulations.
Yeah! Rob Cheese!
On the 11.
Now, Rob, I know it just hit you, but we have a couple special guests on the line. We got Gary Vaynerchuk, we got Josh Luber, we got our friend Jason from Otia Sports. I don't know what's going on because John won't tell us anything, but they're talking
I met
numbers.
you before on a plane.
That's
Oh,
right.
man.
So, Rob,
Woo!
congratulations.
This guy's craziness. You know, gambling became legal in Michigan today. And this is bigger than that. I'm sure.
Rob, I want to buy this from you.
Okay, Gary V wants to buy the card from you, Rob Geis.
I'm sure.
He said I'm sure.
See, it's just some fun stuff. It's an absolute blast here at Vintage Breaks. Unlike any other break. You see what I'm saying? It's just an absolute blast. And as you can see, Vintage Breaks, it's a show. It's a show. It's not just a break. If you're signing into Vintage Breaks, you're not signing in just for a break. I mean, you can, but you can really stay for some entertainment and the community that is built. And the hit randoms and the set breaks are a major part of Vintage Breaks. And as you saw, they bring a ton of fun to a lot of awesome members of the hobby. So once again, anytime you want to get into any of the spots, head on over to vintagebreaks.com. They're always running new promotions, new things. So always check everything out. Visit them on social media at Vintage Breaks. You can find them on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the good stuff. TikTok, Dougie Fresh does a great job on TikTok. And Vintage Breaks is live 7 days a week. So definitely check it out, and hope to see you guys in some hit randoms and set breaks soon.